Thank you very much, Juan. Uh, good morning and greetings of Douglas County. My name is Kelly Robinson, and I'm Commissioner of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners. This is a special call meeting of our Transportation Committee. Before I commence this meeting, I want to set public expectations. This is a special call meeting in which there will be a forum of us here to make a recommendation to the full Board of Commissioners. Thereafter that, there is a secondary meeting that will continue to go on once we turn this one live to work on other matters that will be detailed and disclosed. I just want to do that for the official record. With that out the way, I'll go ahead and get into this special call meeting. So, again, welcome again. My name is Kelly Robinson. I am chair of this Transportation Committee meeting, and we've just got one single line item that we're going to deal with here. And before I get started, I'm going to take a roll call and just make sure we have a full quorum and our supporting staff members here. I'll go around the room as is our custom. My name is Kelly Robinson. I'm chair of the committee and I am present.
Ramona Jackson Jones, the vice chair of the Transportation Committee.
Frederick Perry, Deputy County Administrator, present.
Tiffany Sue Stanley, Assistant County Administrator, present.
Suleiman Rana, Deputy Director of Transportation, present.
We have. So there is no presence of Director Roberts nor Director Coward.
Yes, Director Roberts was not able to join us this morning, Vice Chair.
And Commissioner Robinson, I would like to state that Director Coward has been under the weather, so he wouldn't be able to join us today either.
No problem. Just want to confirm not their presence. That's okay. We have a quorum, so we'll continue to conduct the business of the people here. Do I have a supporting staff members out there or partners in the community? Is Mr. David Good present?
Yes, Commissioner, I'm present.
Okay. Is there anybody else that's here from staff that I just want to acknowledge your presence here that you may be contributing to this meeting? But with that, I take it that it's done. So we're going to keep this simple and quick. Today's agenda is as a single line item. The Board of Commissioners set forth last year to put before the public a referendum to vote for a penny slot, a 1% sales tax, special purpose local option sales tax. That was passed by the public based on 4 categories. Transportation, public safety and library, public safety, parks and rec and library, and ultimately transportation and facilities. This meeting is going to focus strictly on transportation as relates to the percentage of that and what the line items will be that we would recommend to the full Board of Commissioners. So, Deputy Director Rana, you have the list. This is something that we could have brought before our last formal Transportation Committee meeting. It's okay, but we need to have a formal recommendation of this committee to the Board of Commissioners, verifying our list of recommended initiatives. So, Deputy Director Rana, do you have the list before you that we can go through in detail? We're going to confirm and then we're going to make a recommendation. It should be tight. These are not things that are new to us, so we need to do this officially. Are you prepared, sir?
Yes, sir. I have the list and I can go ahead and share my screen if you allow so.
Yes, please. Go right ahead.
All right. Good morning, Madam Chair and Committee Chair. Today's agenda is just to cover the transportation projects. And here in front of you is the list that the Transportation Committee has finalized. And Commissioner Robinson, would you like me to read this in the record?
Yes, please. Read the name of the project and the amount. Write down the record. Write down. Thank you.
All right. The first item is resurfacing over the next 6 years. The cost for that is $9.5 million. Project 2 is Chapel Hill Road intersection and widening project. We've dedicated $5.2 million for that project. Third project is Lee Road Phase 1 with a dedication of $1.2 million. Chapel Hill at I-20 interchange with a cost of $2 million. Economic development for right-of-way acquisition purposes for $2 million. Highway 78 at John West and Baggett Road for $3 million. Post Road at I-20 eastbound and westbound ramps for $1.5 million. Highway 166 at Post Road for $1 million. Highway 166 at Chapel Hill Road at $1 million, and Highway 5 at Berea Road for $1 million, with a total amount of $27.4 million.
Thank you for that. As a validity, what was the percentage of the overall SPLOST that was dedicated to this? This is what, 27.4%? Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
Right. With that, how did we pick, thank you for that, and we're going to get into the question, we're going to lead off. The projects are pretty specific. Are any of these projects rolled over from the SPLOST 2016? Is it incomplete down the list that we now moved it to the new SPLOST? Keep our answers very simple.
Yes, sir. There are a few projects that are rolled over. However, these are new phases of those projects. Most of these are construction phases of these projects that were designed through 2016 SPLOST.
And moving into actual construction. So if you notice here, there's only roughly about 10 single initiatives on here.
Yes, sir.
And it's a little bit, for setting the public's expectations. A little bit less than last time, but at the same point, singular projects. Mr. Good, can you confirm for us what was the percentage of our last SPLOST as relates to what was dedicated or allocated for transportation?
Yes, in the 2016 SPLOST, 51% of the overall SPLOST was dedicated to transportation infrastructure.
Okay. And this particular SPLOST is 27%.
Yes, it's 27.4%. Yes, sir.
All right, so that means almost a little bit over than half. A little bit different animal this time. Can we talk about resurfacing? How do either Deputy Director, how do we come up with this dollar amount for resurfacing? And compare that to the 2016. David, why don't you take a shot at that, please? Explain that.
Okay. Well, of course, in 2016, we decided that we're going to do $3 million a year, basically $18 million, because we had 51% of the SPLOST. We were able to get a larger amount to go towards resurfacing. This time, I believe that it was decided to do about 35% of the allocation for transportation infrastructure, and that ended up coming up to 9.5 million over 6 years, and to be divided up into 6 years. So however much you can get out of 6 years out of 9.5 million is what was decided.
All right, so thank you, Pat. So let me, again, just for the record, if we had 51%, roughly 51 million in our 2016, now take that, how much we put 18 million divided by 51 million came to some 35%. If we not apply the same formula at this dollar amount, can you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. The same 35% was applied to this SPLOST, and with the reduction, that's the number we have, which is 9.5 million.
All right, so we're consistent, is my point. In other words, we just split it on down and we kept it consistent. So we're getting the same amount that we did in 16, we're doing in 2020. Is that accurate? That's true.
Yes, sir.
All right. Same thing for economic development. Give me the rationale behind that line item. And we get 2 million.
So economic development was also listed in 2016. However, that was taken out, and could never deliver on that. So that's why we allocated the available funds for that purposes in 2022 SPLOST.
So really, we had $10 million set aside for economic development in 2016. Can someone confirm that for me? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. And for that 10 million, we had about a couple of projects that was along Riverside, which was the lighting. We had the light at Rock House at Riverside, and then we took out, I believe, $6 million out of that. 5 went towards Lee Road widening, which was very important to the community, and another 1 million went to the lighting of I-20 and also other safety projects within the county, such as the lighting along 166.
So initially, when thank you guys, the Economic Development Authority came to us back during that period of time, that $10 million was allocated for the master plan associated with Thornton Road. And today was kind of everything dealing with sort of that side street Rock House, there was traffic congestion before. It's supposed to be a parallel street, a parallel to deal with, the truck traffic one way, residential another way. But again, it's always about being shovel ready. Are you ready? And so other projects took the board made decisions to make amendments, keep things that were going Obviously, they kept it within the area which was the district per se. In the area from a primary perspective, just to fulfill it. But at the same point, if you're not ready, we've got to keep moving. So likewise, we've got this $2 million here that's for economic development, just in case things come up for right away that we may need to do accordingly. So with that being said, I'm going to pause there because this is not long. You guys have already worked through this and sent this over, obviously, to the CFO, and it's on that list. I just need to confirm it as a committee. Let me just pause here. Madam Chair, are you comfortable before I call the question on this one to sort of validate and confirm this list of projects to the full board of commissioners? Anything you want to say on this, Madam Chair?
No particular comment. Certainly just wanted to for just the sake of the public, we still will, I'm asking you, Chairman of the committee, we still will pursue grants with this big infrastructure program through the federal government as well, or road projects or transportation infrastructure projects. Am I correct?
Absolutely, Madam Chair. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because there is an abundance of money from the federal government for this huge, unprecedented infrastructure, transportation infrastructure initiatives throughout our country. So I just want to make sure the citizens understand. Just if you see this amount, it may even be more coming down the pike related to infrastructure. But I do agree with the list. It's just one item I see that's not on here, but that's okay. That's further lighting for the community in certain areas, but we can deal with that. But otherwise, it looks great.
No, to that point, Madam Chair, yes, we have other funding sources that are associated with our annual LMIG, local maintenance initiative that we have. We do have money that we've set aside in our capital transportation fund and our capital improvement fund. We have a tip, so we have different sources that we've saved up against to leverage our capital stack, and we will pursue those grants as they come available. But right now, we just want to be faithful over this list. They passed by referendum. I want to stay fair, accountable for what they gave us. This is what that's our purchasing power, right there. That list of 10 schools, and that's where we are right now. The master list is long. The things that you speak of, but they're on there. We did a great job of doing lighting and things like that in our last slot, and we were able to amend that list to accommodate those things that historically have not been done. But we're just going down the list and covering some things that they cost what they cost. And again, our slots was somewhat diluted in transportation because it was. We got public safety now fully loaded in there. So I don't to get distracted with that bucket. It has its own bucket, but nonetheless, that's the impact of it. All right, so we got to take care of fire and the public safety at the same time. That diluted through transportation. And again, the public safety, that was their priority was public safety. So they got the lion's share of this ticket slot, and we're good for it. We're going to be consistent. So, I'm sure did that answer your question?
Yes, it did.
All right. Anybody else ready to weigh in before Deputy Director calls the question to confirm and to make a recommendation against this to the full board of commissioners? Anybody else want to weigh in? All right, Deputy Director, call it.
Right. So I make a motion to approve the list of transportation projects for SPLOST 2022 as presented and read in the record.
Second.
All right. Got a motion by Deputy Director. I've got a second by Deputy County Administrator Fred Terry. Any discussion? All right, we're going to go around the room, and as is our custom, I will go first by saying if you agree, say yes. If you don't agree, say no. You always have your liberty and your freedom of your vote. Kelly Robinson votes yes.
Ramona Jackson Jones, yes.
Frederick Perry, yes.
Tiffany Stewart Stanley, yes.
Suleiman Rana, yes.
Great. So we've got unanimous based on the presence of the voting members here. Unanimous action with the recommendation. Deputy Director Rana, pass that forward on up to the full board of commissioners accordingly, okay? We've got that on record. All right, so with that being said, we're going to keep this moving. So if there's nothing else to come for this special call meeting of the Transportation Committee of the Deputy, and today, which is Tuesday, January 24th, 2023, we're going to let this part of the meeting be adjourned. That's official. It's over. Now we're going to drop. Madam Chair, as is your authority, You can assemble anybody. The Board of Commissioners does not have a committee that was assembled for the facilities component of our SPLOS, and therefore it's yours by default. You have a set of people here that are finalize that list as well. Facilities guys, so can y'all tee up, Madam Chair? I'm going to help facilitate, but tee up the facilities category, please, accordingly. Either Fred, David, James Worthington. Is James Worthington here?
Yes, sir. I'm
right
on.
All right. Somebody got to drop the foot before us to facilitate this.
Yeah, Commissioner Robinson, I can start, and certainly James Worthington and David Good can chime in. I see that. Okay, they brought that up. Thank you, David. These are the
Welcome.
the description of the proposed projects that we'd like to move forward with for the 22-2 SPLOST in the facilities and infrastructure category. That percentage has been allotted, 11% has been allotted to this category. Commissioner Robinson, you'd like me to go description point by point?
You could.
Yes, sir. Oh, right now, yes.
Please.
Okay.
Yeah. Estimated cost here. We have a fleet building here on Chicago Avenue, replacing the old building that caught fire some years ago. The estimated requested cost would be $3 million. The new corner building under this would be a new construction for the county. $3.5 million is the estimated cost. Transfer station, which Director Power will be excited about. The estimated cost would be $3 million, and this would be replacing the current temporary structure that we have in place that's been in place for some time. And the estimated cost for that again is $3 million. The Douglas County Museum renovations there at the museum, estimated cost would be $1 million. Courthouse estimated renovations here at the courthouse would be $500,000 for a total estimated cost of $11 million.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Say that again, Chairman of the committee.
No, you go right ahead and take your initial comments.
Okay. Certainly, I had a conversation with Managing Director Worthington yesterday, or late yesterday evening, regarding these items, and they look pretty clear that these are the items that need to be addressed at this particular time. I believe if I'm not mistaken, we had some funding that'll be coming in for the coroner's building that should give us a little relief on that 3.5 million that's demonstrated on here. Because if I'm not mistaken, Managing Director Worthington, and you said there was a certain amount once we sold the building to the city, it was about $750,000. So should that come off that 3.5?
That's correct. I need to verify with finance that was indeed earmarked, but I believe during the discussions of the sale that the board had agreed that the proceeds from that sale would go towards the new facility. So I think that $750,000 should be set aside and could be taken off of this amount.
Right. And then also you mentioned another 500,000.
I believe, and I need to check with them as well. And again, I apologize because this was a spur of the moment for me, but I need to make sure that they had, I believe there was 500,000 set aside in the budget for it as well. And I will verify that today, hopefully. I'll try.
That being the case, Madam Chair, that would bring the total to about 2.2 million.
Mm-hmm, is what should be there. So you have an additional 1.7 to spend. So we need to not necessarily think of something. I see that the design of the new administration building is on here. Did we have an idea of what that design would look like, or the cost? Managing Director Worthington.
So typical designs are going to run probably in the I would guess 5% range would be architectural fees. It could be somewhere, really anywhere between like 3 and 7, depending on the firm. But 5% should be a decent rule of thumb. And if you're talking about a $30 million building, that would be, hold on 1 second. That would be $150,000. So we could definitely include that. You know, I know we don't have the funding for the administration building now, but that project by itself will take many years to complete, because the design itself may take a year to get complete done, and then the construction will take a couple of years, and then of course there'll be a lot of renovations that would need to be done in this facility, the courthouse, to accommodate for the courts and whatnot. So you know, you add maybe another year to that, so you would end up with you know, 3 to 5 year project from start to finish. So pretty lengthy project. So if we have the funds to go ahead and get the design underway, I think that would be a great start. One other point I'd like to make, so the transfer station, I believe Director Coward, and again, he's unable to be here for health reasons, but he had a quote for that $3 million. But I believe that quote is at least a year or two old. I don't know if, Mr. Perry, do you know when that was done? I know it's not recent.
Yeah, it is. It's I would venture to say it's 2 years old.
Okay, so that may go up. You know, everything else has went up significantly in the last couple of years, so that could easily be a 3.5 or 4, or hopefully we can stop there and not keep going up. But that number could increase for sure.
Sounds like we have a little more work to do before taking a vote on this, so make sure we have some accurate pricing or some information. I know it won't be accurate because inflation and things are changing, but want to make sure we have at least something more clear for the board when we take this before the board. So I'm not going to require a vote today. We need myself, you, Fred Perry. When I say you, James Worthington, David Good, Tiffany Stewart Stanley, and certainly Vice Chair, if you want to. This is not a formal committee, but you certainly could be available in the room as well as we make our final decision. But I really don't want to take a vote on this one today because, and I certainly can call a special call meeting in just a moment's notice. Certainly just based on those calendars. So it may be this week. I'm looking at this week because I know time is of the essence. So maybe perhaps Thursday we could come back and just solidify this list and make sure it's ready to go before the board. It's something on here also. I talked to Managing Director Worthington yesterday about ventilation for the all our buildings here because of our COVID-19 public health recent, and it's still ongoing, is the public health crisis. And we need ventilation, probably a whole remake on our ventilation systems throughout our buildings. And we talked about UV, which is ultraviolet system. If you could talk about that just a second for us, Director Worthington. It may be something SPLOST worthy, or it could be something related to ARPA.
Certainly. So the UV, we have it in the Board of Commissioners area already in the air handling unit that's there. Basically, it's a UV sanitation of the air handling unit. So there's kind of an array of UV lighting that douses the filter area and everything, so that anything on those filters is killed by the UV lighting. So we had a plan to continue that through the entire courthouse. And then also looking at it throughout all of the facilities. There's 84 facilities on 64 campuses, I believe. They don't all have the same type of air handling units that this facility does. So there are standalone units. Some of those have drawbacks where they need to be in individual offices. And then there are also just a freestanding style unit, like a portable unit we could do and just do with HEPA purification or whatever. So kind of do those in the public areas or lobby areas. So I'm going to get with property management on that and see if they can come up with some kind of plan of what they would suggest. It's not exactly we're not cookie cutter on our facilities. We have everything from a field house at a baseball field up to the courthouse or the jail. So it's definitely not a one size fits all approach on something like this. We'll have to do a little investigation on it to see what would be the best fit.
Thank you. And
Sure.
certainly we don't want to miss on our estimates, particularly the transfer station. It sounds like, Managing Director, we have 3 million allocated, we just really projecting. And then you said it may move all the way up to 5 million. We want to make sure you could solidify that information. And by Thursday, we vote on this list. I would like to vote on it, so we could take it before the board, but it's just not in my opinion, not ready.
So I will reach back out to Director Cowart and get his best estimate, because I wasn't involved in that original quote, but I'll make sure to try to find out exactly what he's wanting in there, and we'll definitely have to try to nail some things down. So on the administration design, if there are leftover funds at all, would you prefer to have those funds used for design of the administration building or air purification?
I like that. You said administration or ventilation. Which one does
Right. Which one of those Asians do you want?
Well, we are talking, see if it's enough for both once you look at the numbers.
Okay.
But the priority, and I know the board, because we of the public health, but ventilation is key. If you can't breathe, you can't move. You saying we need to purify our air and sterilize it, but certainly if we could make room for both, because the design would be nice to just have some designs out there.
Certainly.
Okay. All right. Any other comments? For Thursday is what I'm looking at. If we can come back for about 15 to 20 minutes, I would just say 20 minutes of your time. It'll be a special call meeting for facilities. So this again needs to be made available to the public, and then we'll go from there. Is that fair? Because we need to tighten our numbers up a little bit before we present it to the board. Because what we don't want is a significant amount of change orders and a lot of maneuvering, and we didn't do our homework. So let's just do that, get as close as possible with the estimates, and then we'll come back on Thursday, and then we will solidify this list and just be prepared to take it to the board.
Okay, I'm gonna weigh in.
Yes.
Madam Chair, gotta weigh in.
Yes, weigh in.
Yeah, we've been sort of squirrely in this. We've had time to think about this. This list is not new. We talked about Republican transfer station for what, 5 years, 6 years? That number is the same number it's been out there. 3.5 million. We're not familiar by building that floor. That's why I'm asking who the people are. They're not here. That's fine. Life goes on, but there should have been a record of that. All right, we knew what that cost was. The coroner, guys, you need to have your numbers here. I mean, James, we talked about this yesterday. The phone policy and phone them guys. Where is that money? Where is that 750? Where is that? Where's the 500? It's great to say it. But so in other words, the coroner doesn't cost you that money until you can offset it. That's the same thing with this with the police building. What happened to the insurance money when the building burned down? That was what, $1.8 million. We used it for something else. The cost is the cost, but y'all let that back office, that finance move around squirrely. Like, gosh, why y'all doing this here like this? Like, wow, I'm just thinking, like, really? I mean, that's why I wanted to record this. Like, I knew this was gonna happen. Like, guys, y'all supposed to be more prepared than this on this. It wasn't at this last minute. The referendum was passed last November. At some point, y'all had to come together and do this. I'm fine. I'm gonna let this go. I hear you. But the admin building, y'all are moving around. Okay, are y'all definitive what? You got the land. Okay, guys. Now you're gonna build. Are you gonna build it or not build it? Now you ain't got enough money for it. Okay, so where I'm parking money for remodeling the courthouse when you got nowhere to put you remodel. Those are two separate transactions, two separate initiatives. Second, Madam Chair, to that point, it don't take that long. We took that deal up $500,000 in less than what, 2 years. Right, we passed in 09. In 10, that's when we began to award all the contracts and stuff. From 11 to 13, they moved in January 13. 3 years. It don't take that long, guys. So I don't want to. I mean, it's like we're setting these false realities about how things work. Like, okay, why is it, that thing is bigger than everything we got? And we should be way more efficient now. That's what I'm saying. We're sort of days like, okay, guys, make some definitiveness. So y'all got to be definitive coming in there, coming in before the board. Be definitive. If this is not that yet, we got to do the quarter. Yes, you got to do these other things that if they're off the list. It's fine. But it's like we're swirling around this. Like, guys, numbers are the numbers. I mean, what we're saying is that this is your max capacity. You know how it moves. This is all you got to work with. It's all you got. And the funny thing is, and I'm not getting one more time. And what I did in transportation, y'all wouldn't have this. So be grateful on what you have here to work with, to do what you got to do, but you can't accomplish everything with public safety in that other budget. So I'm just making you be very simple. Like, all right, guys, you can't go attack everything. So don't compromise the things you got on the list. You only get to do 3 things. Do it well. That was the choice of the board. Sit there like, well, y'all all weighed in. This is the hand that you don't staff. Make this work, guys. We don't lose the things that we really need to do a good job on. Trying to squeeze stuff in there. Now, y'all, again, the board chose not to put a T-swap in there for whatever reason. That could have spread some of this stuff out. So I got to remind y'all for the record, like, okay, guys, that's all y'all got. But don't compromise things that you feel just throwing something out there in the back door. Like, that's just material. I'm going to step away. You guys have got your homework, I'm sure. I will let you and staff. Y'all should have these things ready for us so that me and them sure not sitting here like, okay, like y'all ain't talk about this. It's like y'all are finally in the room together talking. Y'all are in the room at the same time finally talking. Like I had to do it this way to make y'all talk as a group. Like y'all don't know each other. Like, I mean, y'all are just now finding all this out. Like, where have y'all been? Are y'all paying attention to everybody else? I mean, the list is right here. But anyway, Madam Chair, you're good. So Thursday is what it is. I think they've got their marching orders, Madam Chair.
Yes.
And so
Thursday.
this
It'll take us
meeting,
about 20 minutes.
you work it out however you work it out. I'm just saying there will be no more action regarding this meeting, regarding this topic. There's no formal action. All right. Sounds good. All right, Madam Chair. Anything else, please?
That's it. And we will meet on Thursday quickly just to review the numbers. And we are not planning on changing the list, but it sounds like we got a couple of discrepancies. That one with the coroner's office, we may not need as much. And then it sounds like we need a little more on that transfer station. And then the flooring that we just worked on, it's my understanding that we will have a new, and correct me if I'm wrong, DCA, we're gonna, that flooring is great. It's a Band-Aid. We're going with a whole new transfer station. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. So it's not going to be that flooring is a new point. It's just we're thankful that it's there until we can get our new transfer station up. So just want to make sure our numbers are a little tighter. I don't like us presenting to the board, and I don't want to present any information to the board that's erroneous. We're going to get as close as we can, and then have all the facts built in there, so they'll say, okay, we have an idea. And then if there's some extra excess left over, of course, we'll look at the design for the new administration building. And then, of course, we are taking a different approach for ventilation. That was just something I was talking about. Our approach could be related to some ARPA funding that we may be able to repurpose as a result of broadband. So we're thinking outside the box. So Thursday, I have Deion send an invite. We'll look at everybody's calendar. Tiffany, Red, myself, James Worthington, who else need to be on, and David Good. And I think that's our committee, and Pete Coward needs to be here. We need him. And we'll get it done. And I'll call him in.
Good.
Okay?
Madam Chair, just to kind of say, since there is no formal
yeah, it's not
committee
a facilities committee, so we'll have our own Zoom meeting.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I will have a Zoom or either Microsoft Teams meeting so we can talk and then put that list out. And the board of this seat will just bring it forth to the board. But I just want the numbers are just not tight. They're just not, in my opinion. We're like, okay, we're scrambling. We don't want to scramble. We want to give good, clear, succinct information. We'll provide that to the board. All right, Thursday, we'll meet 20 minutes. And it's not a committee, it's not even, we'll just meet.
All right, so just
Right.
for the public, we're gonna go ahead and close off full session for you, and we'll drop off accordingly. This is being recorded. This is a remaining meeting, a staff meeting, of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners, led by, Madam Dr. Ramona Jackson Jones, Chair of the Board of Commissioners. Madam Chair, it's your call to end the meeting, and the fund will take off. I yield, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you so much. Any other questions, regarding the needs for our facilities list? Any questions or concerns? All right, Thursday we shall meet briefly, and it'll be offline. All right, if there are no further questions.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
This meeting is